we got to talk about somebody we haven't talked about in a while. It's been a minute since his name showed up on the breakdown scripts. So let's talk about Jason Kenney for a second. This is so fun and so silly and so dumb. All at the same time, we thought this had to be the show opener for sure. So, going back to January 31st in the run up to the Federal Conservative Party of Canada's AGM big meetup in Calgary. Um, there was some things that were going on, and of course there were a couple of there's a little bit of I believe the kids call it shit posting that was happening in the run up to the thing, and there was a statement that was issued. It's right here by three Liberal MPs, yeah, three Liberal MPs. Um, and this is where it gets kind of like it's really kind of like I don't know why anyone would take the bait on something this silly unless they were a somewhat acerbic podcast. But somebody did take the bait. We're going to get into the statement first because the statement said yesterday Conservatives doubled down on Pierre Poilievre and the divisive American-style politics Canadians rejected last spring. In Pierre Poilievre's 20 years as a politician, he has delivered little for Canadians but empty slogans, reckless stunts, and pandering to the far right. All at this crucial time for our country, Pierre Poilievre is still the wrong choice. In a shocking turn, the three Liberal MPs did not like Pierre Poilievre getting a re-up on his leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada. Some people who are speculating maybe a certain Kenny of the Jasons was also not happy because he's trying to rebuild his profile. There's been a lot of people speculating that perhaps it was because he was waiting for the downfall of Mr. Poilievre so he could swoop in and run for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. But he took issue. He had problems with the statement from three Liberal MPs, because that's going to really influence the opinions of the Liberal MPs are definitely going to influence the Conservative Party of Canada, especially three of them. That'll be a big deal breaker. Anyways, Jason Kenney came out shameful. Liberals smearing Canadian Conservatives as far right is like Trump smearing anti-ICE protesters as terrorists. It's not. First of all, no. Not at all. Not the same thing. Worst analogous effort ever. Both are vile smears that empty those powerful words of their meaning. We actually need to be able to stigmatize and call out the far right and terrorism. Recklessly throwing around that kind of language to characterize their Democratic adversaries is corrosive and irresponsible. Jason Kenney, the same guy who talked about Greenpeace being taken by Russians and imprisoned illegally as being instructive, would like to bring the temperature down. Far right is a term historically associated with Nazis/fascists. One of the biggest applause lines in at Pierre Poilievre's speech last night was his full-throated condemnation of anti-Semitism. Spontaneous standing ovation from the crowd. If that's far right, then nothing is far right. So, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, the ICE, I would not like the Donald Trump thing's just dumb. It's dumb. It's a dumb analogy. It doesn't work. It's clunky and it's inaccurate. And it's you can tell that nobody's writing his columns for him anymore. And there's also a problem with that logic that he threw out in there, because if you're going to say that anybody who says anti-Semitism is bad, and to be clear, anti-Semitism is bad. But if you're going to say anybody who says anti-Semitism is bad can't possibly be far right, then we have some problems. Because as soon as you say that, you're kind of giving a ticket to anyone in the far right who are like, "Oh no, I'm against anti-Semitism, therefore I can't possibly be far right." I mean, Donald Trump is on the record as being against anti-Semitism, but he's a polarizing figure. Maybe there's some questions as to whether or not Donald Trump is far right. I mean, I don't think there should be, but for some people there might be. So we decided to we used to enjoy playing around with the Jason Kenney, having a little bit of fun with him. We had a puppet and everything. So we decided let's see if we can poke some logical holes in Mr. Kenney's argument. So we responded with, as long as you condemn anti-Semitism, you can't be fascist is a heck of a take. Here's another quote. We are ready to cooperate in everything connected to the war against anti-Semitism. Who said it? Viktor Orbán. And then we quote tweeted Jason Kenney, which he apparently did not like. Where did we get the quote from? We got that quote from a German news organization called DW. This was back in, I believe it was 2019, where Viktor Orbán swore on a stack of books that he was going to cooperate with Israel fully to fight anti-Semitism. Now, DW is not a extremist or fringe news organization. They're kind of the equivalent of the CBC. Now, there's probably going to be some people who are going to be, oh, but the CBC is whatever. I don't know why you're watching this show if that's the kind of mentality you have, because I think the CBC is just like, it's got its flaws, but it's very, very important. And that's my thing. So who's Viktor Orbán? Why did we choose that particular example to maybe aggravate the former premier of Alberta just a little bit? Well, let's take a look. And in order to do that, we have to first sort of get some additional context as to what our sources are. So we're going to go with the little organization called the Human Rights Research Center, because they put this little article up. Now, there's going to be some people who say, the February 2019, that's a little bit old. Maybe we need newer information. Cool. This is from March 11th of 2025. And what does the Human Rights Research Center have to say about Mr. Orbán? Today's lesson in geopolitics from the breakdown. So to start with, who is Viktor Orbán? Happy to answer that question. After Viktor Orbán briefly served in 1998 before being defeated twice, he rose to power again in 2010, taking a foothold as an anti-communist leader and setting up his Christian nationalist party, Fidesz. Claiming to be a champion of democracy, realizing he had to, quote, turn his back on liberalism to gain power, he has now become an authoritarian leader, aligning with Russia, who he once criticized so strongly and who is now an important trade partner with Hungary. Orbán made it challenging for Fidesz to lose elections using corruption. Fidesz won 2/3 of parliament seats in Hungary's last two elections, despite not winning a majority of votes. He's also made it difficult for citizens to dissent, using censorship and cracking down on protests. Election fraud, vote tampering, constitution rewriting, and seizing state resources are key components of this corruption. Orbán also seized power over the courts and issued a state of emergency, creating more leeway for him to quickly pass executive action. Orbán has also gained power using false xenophobic narratives that cater to white supremacists, including the eugenist great replacement theory, stating that white people will be replaced by other races and must therefore reproduce in order to avoid replacement. Fidesz has also attacked journalists and criticized while taking control of the media. Many free media outlets are now subject to cyber attacks or accused of being funded by George Soros, a left-wing Hungarian Jewish billionaire who Orbán has made an enemy of, or U.S. left-wing interests. So that's Viktor, who appears to be posing in this photo as some sort of Star Wars villain. I don't know. Most reasonable people should be able to come to the agreement that Viktor Orbán is in fact far right. That's a pretty safe statement. You can go chat GPT it or your AI model of choice if you're lazy at the researching. That's okay. Not here to judge. Viktor Orbán is far right. That is a safe statement. I will commit fully to saying that Viktor Orbán is far right. Viktor Orbán is also against anti-Semitism. So it appears that being against anti-Semitism is not a get-out-of-jail-free card for being far right. Mr. Kenney did... there he is right there, his little Twitter profile with his pin tweet. And Mr. Kenney did not take kindly, it appears, did not enjoy the fact that we were trying to help him work on his logical reasoning. This plus this does not equal this. because Jason Kenney has blocked us. After 7 years of the breakdown doing what the breakdown does, Jason Kenney, former premier of Alberta, has finally blocked the breakdown, because we pointed out that you can be both far right and claim to be against anti-Semitism at the same time. Bye, Jason. I mean, it appears that Mr. Poilievre's got a few more years, so you got some free time, I guess.